Welcome, everyone. This is day 3 of the Branding Breakthrough Challenge. I want to thank everyone for making it here today. I really appreciate the time you're investing in yourself and this training. So let's begin. I would love to start a presentation by doing a recap of what we've seen so far. As you know, this is day 3, so there has been a lot of content going out in the last couple of days. So allow me to share my screen and get that started. Right? Am I live or am I not? Checking my take on the through my phone. It looks like the live is right there. Awesome. Okay, content creators, please check in. Are you here? Say hi. Say welcome. Thanks. I'm glad to be here. Just let me know that you are.
According to TripsGuard, United States is not open for travel for travelers from Canada. Did that answer your question?
So that was Alexa interrupting me again. I don't know why is that. So back to you. Oh, I am here. Okay, so we had one message in the chat. Thank you, Dr. Debbie. And well, as everybody takes their sweet time to show up to the session, I am going to do this super good recap. Today is going to be a very, very crucial day for the challenge. If you are here, make sure that you have everything that you need. Take out your workbook. We're going to be working on some of those pages. If I'm correct, that these pages, today's assignments start at page 9. And we're going to take action during the session live right here. So rather than just listening to the presentation and engaging and in the chat and all that, I will actually set the timer several times today so that you can implement what you learn right away. If we do our work right, you're going to have all the ingredients that you need to come up with your unique channel formula, which is exactly what's going to define your unique and personal brand. So this is super exciting. If you are watching by yourself through our replays, I want you to make sure that you pay a lot of attention, you take it very seriously, and honestly, I'm extremely excited about this. So let's get going. About the recap, some of the important lessons that we learned on day 1 is what channel branding is and isn't. As we established, channel branding is not your designs or logos or colors. It is not your intro to your channel, and it's not your catchphrases. Some of the things are just surface level. That means that they don't go to the core of what it really means, the branding for your specific channel. I'm not saying the things are useless, but they are simply not the whole picture. In fact, they're only what's on the surface. Let's get to what branding really is. Yes, I like to say that channel branding is the soul of your content. In this angle, in this perspective that we have on the whole channel branding idea. I'm saying this for a couple of reasons. The first one is that the channel branding acts as the foundation of everything you create moving forward. That means that one way or another, all your ideas, titles, thumbnails, videos, even recording, the way you record and your editing style, everything, one way or another, is a representation of your brand. And your brand is the big idea that people subscribe to. That is all there is. If the idea that you have for your channel doesn't excite you right away, doesn't seem unique or interesting right away before you create anything, you shouldn't bother creating it. That is, it can be harsh, but it is that critical. Because once you are in more advanced stages, it's going to be a lot harder for you to create it if the idea wasn't that exciting or original to begin with. And ditching ideas at this stage will save you a lot of time down the road. Because one of the worst things that you can do is to reach the stage of recording and editing and start changing your mind about your idea. And then you will have to reshoot things. You will have to re-edit that footage. You're gonna spend way more time for not that great of a result. That's why we want to experiment a lot at the idea level. And this is not any video idea, it is the big idea for your channel. The last thing is, the last idea, which is related to what I just said, is that branding is the soul of your content, because it's the one part in your strategy that has the biggest impact on everything else that you build moving forward. I like to say that the branding is the one part that has the biggest impact, and everything else has a slightly lesser impact on your overall success. You have branding first, then the actual video ideas, then you have the title, the thumbnail, the recording of the video and the editing of the video, and everything else that I haven't mentioned is even less impactful. So channel branding is right up here. I like to summarize the channel branding idea into the answer to the big question: what is my channel about? As we said in past sessions, when you get asked what your channel is about, and when a lot of content creators get asked what your channel is about, we tend to default to generic answers, like saying what our niche is. But as you know, that is not it. That is not even half, not even 25% of the real answer behind it. And that is why so many people struggle on YouTube, because that idea is always super simple. And today, especially more than any other day, I will teach you how to think unconventionally. We'll get to that later. It's gonna be so great. We talked about my origin story. This was a great story. I hope I lived up to being a good main character. You've drawn many very important lessons that I want to make sure that you get from me. And even though many of these lessons are not directly related with content creation and branding, you may have noticed that these lessons are not only for business or for YouTube, but also for life. So there's a lot about many lessons about resilience, many lessons about not comparing yourself with others, which is a topic that I'm not done teaching you about, and so much more. As I always say, my goal is to make sure that you make the least amount of evitable mistakes and experience the least amount of evitable failures on your YouTube journey. That was the biggest purpose of sharing this story. Also, so that we know each other a little bit more. Then this was the biggest piece for the Branding Breakthrough Challenge on day one. The 5 key benefits. It's funny enough, today I had an insight about possible benefits number 6 and number 7. So continue coming to these challenges because they get better every time. With that said, let's stick to the 5 that you learned on day one. Which, when you nail your channel branding, it's easy to stand out because most YouTube channels lack originality and personality. 2 things that we're going to take care of today. And I think is to achieve congruence, which means that in your branding, in all your videos, there are enough common elements for people to recognize your brand. So if every video is too different from the next, there is no brand. And when people start seeing the familiar elements appear over and over again, they will begin to like, know, and trust your content and you as a creator. And if you were to ask me what the name of the game is when it comes to YouTube and content in social media in general is trust. Trust is the name of the game. Like building trust. Building trust is the most valuable thing you can do with your audience. It's more important than views, subscribers, watch time, everything. The next important benefit, or why channel unique branding is the one strategy, is consistency. It becomes easier to create content because, as we said, there are going to be some elements that will repeat over and over, which means that it's not going to feel like you have to start from scratch every time you create something. There are going to be certain elements that will stay. And making content on a consistent basis becomes easier as well. Get creative. This is the one lesson that will be most important today. So the days are connected between each other. You may have noticed that. We constantly often go back to ideas that we said in the previous days. Getting creative means that you will have tools to exploit your creativity. In my mind, my view about creativity and people is that everyone is creative. All we need is to first believe in ourselves, and second, to have tools that will help us unleash our creativity. And that is one of the cornerstones of my entire framework. I am counting on your creativity. I'm not giving you everything that you need. You are putting your part too. And that's how we build something strong and powerful and beautiful. The other cool thing about getting creative through your branding is that creativity allows you to break through a lot of barriers that you thought were getting in your way of achieving your content creator goals. A lot of people, for good reasons, say that they can't get what they want because they are limited by money, time, and connections. So having more money will help them achieve their goals. With the current resources that they have, it looks like they can't. And as I said, that is a legit concern, but by exploiting and training your creativity, we'll be able to break through all those barriers and nothing will stop you from moving forward. The goal is to make sure that we eliminate all possible excuses and you actually take action and produce your desired outcome. The last key component, the last key benefit is what I call the combination lock. The combination lock is a metaphor for YouTube success when it comes to branding. You have to imagine your branding as if it was a combination lock with various numbers that you can turn and get new combinations of numbers every time. So once you establish all the elements of your channel unique formula, you will be able to start testing. You're going to start making videos. And when you do that, you're going to find out two things. One is if you really love the idea, often we won't know the final answer to anything until we don't make it. So an idea is an idea, and you need to materialize it in order for you to know for sure if you love the idea. And what's going to happen next is that you're going to be making videos, and you're going to find out if you like it, but you're also going to find out if it works for your specific audience. Obviously, there is not like a surefire way to what ideas are going to work. What we are making sure that we do through this challenge is that they will be unique and personal. Unique, original, and personal. Those three things you for sure will accomplish. But as far as that working right away, having a guarantee for success, that's not how it is. That's why the combination lock metaphor is so useful, because once you realize that your audience is not receptive to your content, you can take your channel branding and tweak one aspect of it, just one at a time. You will want to think like a scientist and play with the variables with one variable at a time. Otherwise, when you are changing too many things and experimenting, you will never know what works and what doesn't. So you change one number in the log, and then you try again, start making videos again. And the cool thing is that that is actually a guarantee that you will succeed, because you are testing diligently and effectively. And over time, you're going to hit that perfect combination that is going to open up the lock. And by opening up the lock, you open the doors to opportunity and success. Is that exciting? I believe that I should give more attention to this combination lock idea. And maybe add a couple of slides saying, better explaining what I just said, like using more and more slides. I think it will be helpful. Well, how to get the most out of this challenge? I believe this is, I'm going to just skip this one. You just know what you need to do. Show up, take notes. If you don't show up, watch the replays, complete the assignments, and be interactive in these sessions. So when I say, hey, tell me what you think in the chat, tell me what you think in the chat. I talked about the VIP, the Challenger VIP package. I would honestly, I'm not a big fan of making you an offer every day. Not really, but it's never too late. The two super bonuses that you get by upgrading to Challenger VIP will help you enhance your experience of the challenge, but it will also help you in the long run to improve and tweak your channel unique formula. So always included in the Challenger VIP bundle, we have the Branding Breakthrough Challenge past recordings. So you can come to the live sessions and wait for the recordings to come out day by day, or you can access everything that we did on the last challenge in July and do everything on your own pace. So when I'm live, you can pause and rewind. And so you're gonna need to, if you prefer to have complete control over the experience, you will need these recordings. That's such a weird way of saying that you need something. The next bonus, which I find extremely valuable, is the Branding Builder chatbot trained in the channel unique formula. By now, you experienced day 2. So that means that you are aware of how the channel unique formula works, what it is, and what it's made of. Now, for those who are familiar with the software ChatGPT, you should, because if you aren't, you might be living under a rock. And this is an AI writer, AI chat that uses, well, artificial intelligence. That's what AI stands for. And it's able to write and respond and think and propose and outline pretty much anything. And there are 2 super interesting features that I was able to leverage in order to build this amazing tool for branding for you. And those features are, 1, the ability of ChatGPT to be trained by someone in order to do a specific task. What that means is that all the stuff that you know about the channel unique formula from day 2, I spent a long time talking to the chatbot to make sure that this AI understood how it worked, how to create ideas, how to tweak them, and even how to evaluate how good they are. Isn't that crazy? So, and the last feature from ChatGPT that's a killer is that since 1 or 2 months ago, you can share a chat, which means that what the chat I've been using to train it into the channel unique formula is shareable now. So by clicking a couple of buttons, I can share that chat and give it to you so you can use it. That is the bonus number 2 for the Challenger VIP upgrade. So the value of each of these bonuses is $500. The total of the offer is $1,000. And you can still take advantage of this offer for just $27 because you are a challenger. Okay. So sign up now to get the most value, and I'll be thrilled to see you sign up. We got another visit from on Zoom. So Dacia, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for staying. Oh, go ahead. Did you want to say something? Okay, I'm not really sure. Okay, you can say muted. That's the best. You can also always participate in the chat as well. So that is it for the Challenger VIP. The link is tinyurl.com/challenger-VIP. You can do that now, and you will love those two bonuses. Let's get into. I'm missing. Where's the button that I was looking for? Oh, right here. So that was the summary for day one. Let's do a recap of day two. Day two is a lot shorter. So you probably remember this chart. This is the channel unique formula chat. And the 5 elements, you're gonna need to remember this. So I must repeat them. The channel unique formula is made of 5 elements, 5 components, or like I like to say, 5 ingredients: niche, audience, creator, tone, and structure. Some of these terms are probably obvious to you. So niche is the passion topic of your channel. So that is the reason you started doing this to begin with. The audience is the people you make content for. So if you don't have a specific audience that you are making content for, and you don't know what they're like, what they want and like and need, it will be hard to be successful with your content. So that's why you need the audience. The creator is you. That is the only thing that nobody else can copy. And we're going to leverage that great personality of yours and pour that into your videos. And if you think you need more personality, let me tell you that you're wrong. What we need to do is to pull that personality out of you, because you have it. We just need to get creative and let it all out. The last 2 elements are tone and structure. The tone is the way you communicate through your content in terms of emotions and genre. I like to use the term genre because it summarizes well what tone is. So when you're thinking about tone, you should be thinking about certain emotions. For example, inspirational, sad, happy, joy, mystery. What else? Comedy, of course. Comedy of fun or whatever you feel, laughter, right? Then you have genres. Genres like comedy, horror, mystery, even thriller, if you will. All those words put together help you define the tone of your channel. And often, just the tone could make a big difference when it comes to how unique your channel branding is going to be. The last is the structure. The structure, I like to define it as the logical sequence that your content follows when you present it. Some examples of a structure are how-tos, vlogs, Q&A, interviews, stories, storytelling, if you will. Well, actually classes, web classes, master class, whatever you want to call it, or having right here, challenges, they are all structure types. And the good thing is that just by being aware of these 5 elements, you are already a few steps ahead than before. Just the mere awareness of this is going to help you become more unique easily. But that's not it. As you remember, yesterday, we also went through various big YouTube channels, including Watch Mojo, The Game Theorists, Video Game Donkey, Psyched to Go, different niches, very different niches. And we did a complete channel unique formula breakdown on those channels, and we found out why they are so unique. And now that you are aware of the 5 components, the 5 ingredients, how they operate in big YouTube channels, now is your chance to do the same for you. With that said, we're ready to jump to day 3. Who is excited about day 3? Let me know in the chat if you're ready to take action, not only mentally, but if you have your notes with you, if you have your workbook, whatever you love using for writing, let me know if you are ready. Not gonna wait on you, so let's begin. Here's what I managed to chat. Whatever happened to my phone? There. All right. Okay. Day 3. I have bad news. The bad news associated with today's lessons are that you have been lied to. This lie made you repress the best parts of you. What am I talking about? One of the biggest lies that a lot of us buy, even as content creators, is that we are not creative enough. We are not the creative type. We have a left and right side of the brain, and the right side is stronger, so we're not creative. You have a family and you have a brother or a sister who is the creative one. They are funnier, they are artistic, they know how to act, they know how to be funny, and you aren't. And your parents, your circle of friends, your teachers, they don't see you as the creative one. You're not artistic, you've never built anything meaningful, important, so that's not your thing. I hope it's not the case for a lot of you, but I have talked to a lot of people, and I see this time and time again. This is the reality for a lot of people. And what's killing the creativity is not their innate state. It's not that there are some people who are gifted with creativity and some who aren't. The problem is that we are told that we are not creative or that we are not creative enough. And I'm here to liberate you because that is a lie. Okay. The good news is that everyone is creative. It is part of our human nature. So stop believing this lie that you're not creative, because it's very damaging for you. Because the worst thing, one really bad thing that can happen to a person is that they are told they're not creative. But the even worse thing that can happen to you is that you begin to believe that you are not creative. That's the real creativity killer. It's not your natural incapabilities. You are capable. You are going to have to do a little bit more work. That was small obstacle, speaking of obstacles. But most importantly, not yet. I'm gonna leave that for later. So before I move forward, what has your experience been with this lie about you not being creative? Have you seen it? Has anyone told you you're not creative? Have you ever heard the phrase, he's not the creative type? You are not the creative type. Did that happen? Let me know in the chat. And I know we're getting a little too vulnerable, but this is necessary. And most importantly, this is safe space. Nobody criticizes anything not on my watch. I used to believe that I was not creative. I've always, for the longest time, I've had this perception of myself where I thought, I am not artistic, I am not creative. Like, I love math, I am a logical person, I have these like problem solving capabilities. I am rational. Like, I'm a rational person. And then I used to think that I was not creative. And then over time, I started experiencing different things, being exposed to different concepts and different people. Then that made me realize that actually I was creative. Not any type of creative. I am very creative. And when you look at the word creative itself, it comes from the word creation. And creation is something that we're doing constantly. It doesn't matter if it's not, a Michelangelo or a Jackson Pollock. It doesn't need to be creative and artistic in the most pure sense. Making videos is creative work. Your job, if you have a job that is not YouTube, I'm sure that in one way or another, you get creative as well. You get creative when you hold a conversation with a certain person. You get creative when you're putting your ideas on the world. If you really take the time to think about it, creative is so natural. The most natural thing that we do in our society is to restrict creativity and perceive it as something that only some people have. Wrong and wrong. Let's have a look at the chat to see what you have to say. We do have a comment. Okay, I used to believe that about myself. Oh, that's great. I like the past tense language. So Dr. Debbie has overcome the belief that she's not creative. Awesome. And today, in my little inspirational speech, didn't completely convince you, although it should move you forward pretty well. We're going to do the actual creative work. Oh, I love this concept. Creativity, before we get started with the action, creativity is the secret weapon of people who are restricted by time, money, and connections. You have heard this concept before, haven't you? And this is the reality. When you look at the biggest YouTube channels, at some of the biggest companies or internet companies in the world, you will see that creativity was the one thing that really, made a difference in their companies and their industries. When you look at many of the entrepreneurs in these, recent years, say 10, 15 years, thanks to the power of the internet, a lot of people with barely any money were able to build million and billion-dollar companies. It doesn't mean that everybody is Mark Zuckerberg, but what it means is that the power of creativity can help you break through all these barriers. And does that mean that you will be able to achieve anything that you want without having any minute for you or any money? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that, guess what it means? This one will blow your mind. When somebody has a very creative, original, powerful, disruptive, big idea, you will attract audiences, yes. You will also attract people who want to invest in you. Even though a lot of you are not entrepreneurs or don't care to be, and you are here just for the passion of YouTube, which is super acceptable, especially in this context, people invest. Audiences are attracted to big ideas, but also people who are not necessarily viewers are interested in investing in big ideas. So that is the secret weapon. That is how you overcome the common barriers that people have to get their ideas, projects, and careers forward. So you got this. Let's talk about the better news. Better news is that you can tap into your inner creativity with proven tools. So that creativity that you have within you, I am going to pull it out. A lot of you are aware that you are very creative. It's not the case for everybody, unfortunately, but a lot of you know that. However, today and in the upcoming days, we are going to unleash your creativity. We're going to help you build something really good. Because the biggest gap between what you're creating today and what you could be creating in a few days is the tools. The tools fill the gap between what you're building today and how you're going to take it to the next level. Let's talk about these proven tools. These are the 5 tools of channel unique branding. And there is one tool for each of the 5 ingredients. This is going to get interesting. The 5 tools are the niche. When it becomes the tool of channel unique branding, it's called the hybrid niche. That means that you are taking not only one passion topic, but also 2 passion topics, combining them together into making something unique and original and interesting. You can't combine anything with everything, but they will be 2 passions of yours, and that will make your channel stand out instantly. I'm going to talk about the benefits of each one later on in this session. So tool number 2 is the targeted audience. So you can target to the similarly natural audience that inhabits your niche. You can also go one step further and make your content for a targeted audience. That is not any audience, that is a sub-sector, like a sub-niche inside your audience. I'll explain you more in a bit. The creator becomes a unique perspective. That's the moment where we're going to pull out everything that's good about you and even some things that are not good about you and get them out of yourself, of your system, and onto whatever you're using to take notes to add that unique perspective and personal to your channel. The 4th one is the unexpected tone. So you can have a tone or 2 in your channel, but using an unexpected tone is taking things to the next level. The last one is unexpected structure. So again, you could choose any structure for your channel, which is the logical flow in which you present your content, or you can use an unexpected structure and do something out of the norm for what your audience usually expects. Told you we're going to think unconventional, so we will. All right. This is what's going to happen in the next 40 to 50 minutes. I am going to explain you each of the tools one by one. And at the end of each one of the tools, we're going to take action. There's going to be action steps. I'm going to put a timer and you're going to get to work. Sounds good? In the meantime, as you are writing, I am going to rumble about some useful examples that you can use or can inspire you. A hybrid niche is a channel topic that is made of 2 or more genres, a primary niche and the secondary niche that could be similar or completely unrelated to the main one. In other words, we're going to take a passion of yours that is not your niche and make the effort to combine it and see what we get. One thing I can guarantee, it will be unique. Speaking of that, let's talk about the key benefits of having a hybrid niche. Make competition irrelevant. Combining ideas that are usually not together. This is also called pattern disruption. putting things together that are usually not. So that draws people's attention. 2, appeal to a wider audience. People who are interested in your primary niche could potentially be interested in your secondary niche, and even more so, interested in the combination of the two. So you have a wider appeal by having that hybrid niche, that combination of two passions. And the last one, of course, is to double your passion for your channel. If you ever got to a point where you lacked motivation, I'm not saying it's not going to happen again, but we're going to shrink to severely reduce the possibilities of that happening. When you take two passions, you're going to make content that you're going to enjoy making content a lot more. You literally double the passion. And I could even say that you triple it, because we're talking about two things that you love, but also this unusual combination that will be a very unique and original idea. So if you are ready to rip off the words, we're going to get into action. Action steps. I'm going to read them out and then put the timer. If you have a channel niche, you can write it down right now. 2, brainstorm 3 to 5 passions and interests that you have aside from your niche. So remember, we're making it personal as well. Mix them up. You're going to have your main niche on one side and your 3 to 5 passions on the other. Mix them. Combine the main one with the secondary ones, one by one, and see what you get. Try to put it in your head and say, what will this look like? Oh, I like this, right? And the last point is to see new ideas. New original ideas come to life. We're going to put a timer for, let's do, this one shouldn't be hard for you, to be honest. I'll give you 7 minutes. So let me give you some examples. Well, it has to be personal, right? So my main channel niche is YouTube growth advice. Let's think about some of my other passions. One of my other passions is singing. I do sing, by the way, pretty well. So YouTube growth advice and music. Maybe too weird. Let's try another one. Another passion of mine is video games. YouTube growth and video games. I don't have to necessarily take everything about video games and add it onto my niche, but I could make something happen. What if I use video games language, for example, and say, okay, you're going to beat the final boss by increasing your retention with these editing tactics. Sounds like crazy stuff, but that is the kind of stuff that could eventually help you come up with a big idea. Another passion of mine is movies. What if I say YouTube growth advice plus movies? What if I take movies? What if I take the storytelling strategies used on movies to teach you how to create better YouTube videos? Come in the chat. Okay, thank you, Dacia, for that comment. For sure, we'll receive you back. You know you need to get going. So why not? I mean, movies are content after all, so you could definitely learn a lot from popular movies in order to teach YouTube growth advice. I hope these examples help. And who knows, maybe you are like me and you happen to like video games or movies or singing. How are we doing with time? We have another 4 minutes left. If you're into it, I would like to see you writing some of your passions in the chat. Do you have more passions? Technology. DIY. What if you were to combine graphic design with DIY? You would build your project on Canva first, and then you would build it, you would make it in real life. You would make the physical object. Hey, that's a good idea. I am also very invested in personal development, as you know, and my business, that's not a YouTube channel, but my business is a hybrid niche that combines YouTube growth advice with personal development. And if you want to get it more creative, you can think about some of the angles that I've taken. For example, one of the angles that I have for my business, which could be considered a big idea, right? That people follow, is that we need to unleash your creativity. This is not about me telling you what to do and how to do it. This is about you gaining the tools to unleash your creativity, come up with something great. I know I'm not talking about niches, but some of the stuff that I'm saying will be useful down the road. Without 45 seconds. I may have given you a little too much time. But there is nothing wrong with silence. Remember to start matching your new passions added to your main niche. You are getting the passions written down, but you're also combining. All you need to do is really put A plus B. If you can come up with something more specific at this stage, go ahead and do it. Some answers from Dr. Debbie. Ayurveda, herbs, energy, quantum physics, music, writing. Huh. Okay. Wonder what else you can build with those ideas. Let's talk about strategy number 2, tool number 2, targeted audience. This one will require more brain power than just writing your passages. A targeted audience is a subsector of your audience that is underserved and would love to watch content that is specifically made for them. As you know, if you have a niche, say photography, your audience would probably be photographers. Not necessarily, but that's very likely. but there are always sub niches, subsectors of an audience based on a few criteria. Oh, that few criteria could be demographics, for instance, people of a certain age, people of a certain gender, people with a certain job, people who are entrepreneurs, people who have a certain income level. All of those things that are demographics could give you an advantage over other people, because by adding another layer of specificity to your audience, you can make content that is tailored for them, and you will be more competitive than the person who's talking to everybody in your audience. You will be able to get them better. In fact, now we'll talk about the benefits. So the key benefits of having a targeted audience is make your competition irrelevant. So by narrowing your scope of people, you get to serve them better than everybody else. Serve them or entertain them or whatever experience you want them to go through. You help them with their goals. I was to watch 2 videos, and one of them said how to, I don't know, let's say, how to make your first $1 million by the age of 30. I am 30 right now, so I'd say, okay, that sounds made for me. If I see another video that says how to make your first $1 million as a coach, as an online coach in your 30s, I would say, hey, that looks way more specific. That is definitely for me. So you get what I'm saying? On one hand, it looks like you're shrinking your reach, but on the other, those people who you attract are going to be to receive a bigger benefit, a bigger payoff from that type of a specific video. And at the same time, key benefit number 2, they're going to build a small dedicated audience that you know inside out. You attract loyal fans because you beat your competition by creating content that is very, very specific. So don't get confused about going viral and building a loyal audience. They don't always go together. And in fact, a lot of times they never go together. So it's more the exception rather than the rule. Let's take some action. Now, the first step is, if you know the audience that inhabits your niche, write it down. That's the first step. Now we're going to get a lot deeper. We're going to determine what subtype of audience you are going to be making content for. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to put a timer in a little bit. We're going to brainstorm 5 to 10 traits that your audience could have. You need to think about the categories that I'm about to explain, but also the people that you would love most to see your videos. You have to really like your fans. I mean, do you expect them to like you? You have to like them a lot. That's how you're going to decide whether they're going to be young or old, or professionals or entrepreneurs, or gamers, or casual gamers, or hardcore gamers. So let's talk about the categories. The first one is demographics. You can consider age, gender, ethnicity, and occupation. There could be more examples of demographics, but those 4 will do more than enough. Personality: are they introverts, extroverts, perfectionists, productive, ambitious, humorous? There are a lot more. You don't have to think about personality traits and add them to your audience to see if that makes a difference. For example, if you want to teaching music for introverts is very different from teaching music to extroverts or perfectionists. So if you are the generalist, as some people say, you would teach music to everybody. aspiring musician, that would be your audience. But if you really want to speak to your audience on a deeper level and build a loyal fan base, you're going to want to add one or more personality traits to your audience. The next one, you want to make sure also that the such person exists, right? If you happen to come across a certain, if you end up building a character that doesn't quite exist, that you know it's not there, you shouldn't use that as your sub audience. You will have to use some gut feeling, but you will get to where you need to be. Don't worry. Experiences, desires, goals, problems, stories. Let me give you a quick example of this of goals. If for YouTube creators, as a person who helps YouTube creators achieving their content goals, the content creator goals, I could say that I help all YouTubers. That's the generalist path. I could say that I help people who want to turn their channel into a career. So if you see your channel as a hobby, you're not my ideal audience. You're not my targeted audience, to be specific. And you can talk about certain problems that they have. For example, if parents who have like babies crying all night, not every, if you can make a channel about any type of parent, or you can make a channel that is made for parents with very small children, or you can make a channel for parents with very small children who cry all night. And that specific problem helps you narrow your scope and have a targeted audience. Stories can be different. Stories, obviously, stories mean something from the past. And the past obviously matters. The past is not gone completely. So if you say that you help people, let's say that your niche is fitness, but you help people who specifically just recovered from a disability or just recovered from surgery. That is a story that makes your audience more specific. So you can do fitness for everybody or fitness for people with a certain story. Certain story could be also women who just gave birth or who gave birth in the last 3 years. And then those will be a different type of person. It's not everybody, and it's not any type of woman. It's a woman with a specific story. I hope you get this by now. And the last step is to match your audience in its basic state with all the traits that you've been brainstorming. So you will be using these 3 categories in order to brainstorm 5 to 10 traits. And then you're going to put it all together and get your targeted audience. A word of warning before we get started is that you don't have to get one idea for every single post option that I gave you. These options are there to enable you, not restrict you. And if you add all the categories together, you may end up with an audience that is so targeted that it only applies to one person in the world. You don't want that. Let's begin. I'll give you 10 minutes for this. Let's think about more ideas. If you are targeting entrepreneurs, they could be of a certain age. If they are younger or older, that makes a difference. If they have a certain occupation, maybe some of them are full-time entrepreneurs, maybe some others are part-time entrepreneurs. You can be specific like that. You can get more specific in their occupation. Maybe they have a background in sales, or maybe they have a background in something so different that they're super lost when it comes to knowing how to start and grow and run business. Then we could talk about niches that are more about performance, like singing, acting, dancing. What if you take that acting with aspiring actors who are introverted or aspiring actors in their 40s, aspiring actors of a certain ethnicity, say Latino American, that helps too, or Asians. Ethnicity could be a difference. Usually ethnicity works best. It's not one of my favorite types of targeted audience, but it usually makes the most sense when who you target happens to be in your own ethnicity. You can talk about certain goals. So somebody may want to be an actor because they want to express themselves. They want to be, basically they want to do all the things that they can't do in their normal lives. They can do them through acting. So that's a way of expressing themselves. And some other aspiring actors will have a different goal, like getting into Hollywood or getting into theater. It could be a hobby. It could be anything. Then if you could talk about people in a certain situation, what if this will apply under occupation? If you have people who don't have any job, let's say that you have stay-at-home wives or husbands, and you know that they have a lot of time in their hands. You maybe know also that they have grown-up kids who don't live with them anymore, and you will find some entertaining and creative way to keep them busy throughout their days, to give them something to look forward to. There could be so many niches, but there you go. If you know the niche that this kind of people could be inhabiting, you can make content that is super specific for that type of person. Honestly, I could go on forever. Like there's so many great options. How's the timer? We are at 5 minutes and 25 seconds. So there's a lot to write. I'm not going to rush you. Are your people humorous? Maybe. Are they funny? Do they want to be funnier? Are they nerds? Nerds is such a great target audience. You know why? And I know this because I'm an insider. Nerds tend to get obsessed about things. So if your audience happens to be a nerd audience, and if you are a nerd yourself, you're gonna have much better chances of attracting the audiences to you. Can you think of other personality traits? Can you think about more stories? When I think about experiences, I like to use this phrase as somebody who. as somebody who's been a parent for 20 years, as somebody who's gone through cancer, as somebody who has 3 children, as somebody who loves fashion, as somebody who worked with Tony Robbins for 10 years. Like all of those things are creative angles that your audience could be, the qualities that your audience may have. As somebody who is perfectionism a problem? Not a problem, more like a personality trait in your audience. If you are into journaling and you expect the people who watch your videos to journal, you may want to serve those who are perfectionists more than others because they have an extra struggle and they will need somebody empathetic and patience to help them overcome that personality flaw, or maybe even take advantage of that personality flaw. Perfectionism can have some advantages, even though it's very bad for creative work, usually. Goals and desires could be things that they want. Do they want a career? Do they want a hobby that lights them up? Do they want to do something together with their couple, with their partner, or with their kids, or with their friends? Why not? People in social circles, people who see their friends every week. As somebody who sees their friends every week, that. And then you can have a cooking channel and say meals for friends who come over. Easy meals for your friends coming over. Cooking can get super saturated and can be super generic. So if you are the kind of person with a cooking channel, as a person with a cooking channel, you should totally get specific and targeted about who you are making your content for. Now look at the activity in the chat. And time will be up in seconds. Don't forget to put it all together. You are supposed to brainstorm and then put things together. All right, I hope you made it far. You didn't need to write a lot of things, but you really needed to give it more thought in the last assignment. We're gonna move to tool number 3, your unique perspective, demographics, personality, and experiences. If you are worried about whether we're gonna make it in the next 20 minutes, we will, don't worry. The unique perspective exploits your personal traits, such as demographic, personality type, life experiences, positive or negative, to add interesting angles to your main idea. So this is where the biggest work is going to happen. And remember, positive or negative. So this is the creator element. This is you. The key benefits of adding a unique perspective is to make your competition irrelevant, you add the most important ingredient to channel branding, you. This is the one part you can't copy anywhere else. 2, become more interesting and relatable. Leverage the power of human touch. If people see, get to know you, it's gonna get easier for them to trust you afterward. Becoming relatable, also, it's extremely important. They wanna see that you are just like them. You have flaws, you struggle, and you have some of the most mundane pleasures, like eating Wendy's with your mom, which is what I do almost every week. 3, share your journey and become the best version of yourself. Creating content becomes a journey of personal growth that your audience will follow. So get personal and share stuff with your audience. Tell them about what you're up to, what you did before, what you want to do, your aspirations. Share all of those things with your audience. And then as you publish video and keep them posted, they will start rooting for you. They say, okay, people, this is my next goal. And in the next video, you said, you know what, it didn't work out. People are gonna go like, don't worry, you're amazing. It was not meant to happen. It has happened to me, certainly. So have them root for you. Share your journey, get them to know you. And once if they know you, you know what happens. Over time, they will like and trust you as well. And trust builds loyalty. And loyalty is the currency, is the currency of the YouTube game. You will want to get as much people, loyal fans as you can, regardless of the views and subscribers metrics. Action steps. So we're gonna get right into the action. You're going to recognize some of these bullets from the last assignment. But what's gonna happen next is that we're gonna take you, not your audience, you, the creator, and we're going to figure out your demography. Your demographic traits can add an extra angle or a fresh perspective to your niche. Personality, what is your personality like? Consider positive and negative traits. These ones are important because people want to see that you have flaws. I know it will take some vulnerability to do this, but you got this. Goals. What are the 3 things that you want to experience with all your heart? So this is more than just having a unique branding. This is also about you getting to know yourself. This is an exercise of personal development in disguise. So get ready. Achievements. What are the achievements that you are most proud of? Share them. Failures. What are the failures that you're most afraid to share? Clock is running now, 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to answer all these questions. And I am going to give you some examples as you work. It is so exciting. If you get through this one, you're going to be like on another level. Like, this is your personality. This is the one thing nobody can copy. This is the one thing that makes your content 10 times more entertaining. So get it done. Do I need to explain again what you do with age, gender, ethnicity, and occupation? This is like a survey question. So it should be super easy for you to do. Personality. What is your personality like? Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Are you caring? Are you bubbly? You know, some of this that very cringy stuff that you see on dating sites, you could use that as inspiration. Are you productive? Maybe you are not. Maybe you're lazy. Maybe that's one of your negative traits. You are inconsistent. You love eating junk food. I don't even know if that qualifies as personality. It's more like a habit. But use it. Why not? More personality traits. You are obsessive with cleaning, or you're obsessed with cleaning. That can be negative trait. Positive trait. You're optimistic. Negative. Are you pessimistic? Yeah. Are you funny? Please tell me you are. Just think about all these positive and negative traits. You can also think of it as your strengths and weaknesses. Are you determined? Are you disciplined? Are you passionate? Use them. Use all of them. Goals. Things that you want to experience with all your heart. This goes beyond the mere thing of saying, I want to get paid doing what you love. This is something important, of course, but you want to try to get beyond that and say, I want to travel the world. I want to be financially free. I want to be able to retire my parents. A lot of people say that in my world. In my other world. My world is you, but I have a. What else do you want to experience with all your heart? One thing they don't want to do is to sing in front of millions of people. Write the 3, make sure they speak to your heart. The word heart is not used lightly. So get your 3 goals written down. Achievements. What have you accomplished that you're proud of? Starting your YouTube channel, no matter how big it is an accomplishment that is big. Maybe you graduated from university. That is great. Maybe you get a job in your field. There are a lot of possibilities. What else did you accomplish? Did you build something? Did you write something? I created a few online courses, as you know. That's quite the accomplishment. I'm very proud of it. And did you join a certain community that is super uplifting, super helpful, super everything? Did you become a parent? You know, having a child is quite the accomplishment. I'm looking forward to that. Not even close. I'm not close, but it's there. Oh, that reminds me. For demographics, you can also put marital status. Single, married, divorced. I've known a guy who was my client for a little while, whose targeted audience was divorced men, recently divorced men. Failures. Oh, this is a big one. Something that you tried and didn't work out. Some big mistake you made. Maybe a story of you accidentally hurting someone. You know, some of those stories are heavy. You don't have to get that heavy. In fact, you can get as heavy as you want, but you don't have the obligation of sharing that with your audience. In this exercise, everything that you write will be completely private, so don't hold anything back. And whatever you want to share with me, you can do that in the chat, or you can use our Facebook Messenger group chat and share some of the things that you wrote today in there. Do you have other failures? I failed at 5 businesses. When I was a kid, I failed at my entry exam for the high school that I wanted to get into. Failure should not be embarrassing, really. I know it can be for good reasons, but you know, people love those stories. We're used to focusing on the positive. That's a good thing. That's a positive attitude, a good attitude towards life. But in order for your audience to see your humanity, they will want to hear that you have flaws, and they will want to hear that you failed before, because they too. That's how you create a connection. Looks like we're doing great. Let's look at the clock. 3 minutes. I hope you've been writing a lot of things. We're uncovering the anatomy of who the creator is, you. And honestly, even though by the end of this session, we will have done a lot for your channel unique branding, these exercises have no reason to stop here. You can take the recording of the session and on your own time, continue adding things, adding more and more and more. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a channel unique branding that is going to be like a huge list that you won't be able to manage, but everything could inspire something for a future video, even if it's not applicable to your entire brand. And if I wanted, really, I wanted to make sure this was, what's the word? That I gave you the right amount of knowledge for you to take action on. If I was to go super, super, super deep into who you are as a creator, we could talk about so many more things. In fact, I want to give you a little one to see if it sparks something on you. What are the things that annoy you? You could talk about things that annoy me are customer service. Things that annoy me are arrogant people. Incompetence in general. Pessimism. Things that you hate. Things that annoy you. You can add them too. We're down to the last minute. I hope you wrote a lot of wonderful ideas for all these prompts. Got a lot of good answers here because you are getting to know yourself. You're about to pour your personality on your content. We have 2 more tools before we wrap up today. Tool number 4, unexpected tone, emotional and communication style that is out of the norm in your niche. The unexpected tone is a communication style that is unusual for your chosen niche. As we established, we talk about emotions and genres. The key benefits of using an unexpected tone: make your competition irrelevant. Use unexpected tones that nobody expects. There you go. If you have a channel, a type of channel that is usually most other YouTube channels just informational, by making it a comedy, you stand out. By making it mysterious, you stand out. By making it critical or satirical, you stand out. So it's not hard to add an extra tone or two to be more unique. 2, become naturally more entertaining. The mere awareness of tones makes you a better content creator. It's as simple as that. You will be more entertaining once you are aware of the tones that you can use, and more importantly, the unexpected tones that you can use. 3, pattern disruption. Switch from one tone to another on any given video to create a pattern disruption. I remember doing this in an earlier video I published this year, where I triggered pattern disruption in the tone level. That's not the only way to do it, by changing the tone from informative to inspirational. I remember that I changed at the end of close to the end of the video. I made my call to action to ask people to subscribe, and then I started with a new scene altogether. I changed the music, made it sad. I was playing with transitions. So every time I finished a sentence, the screen would turn black and quickly come back to normal. Then I was showing B-roll of people who were sad. So I was explaining a concept that was inspirational, but also show them how sad it is when you are not authentic. So the tone changed completely by making those interesting moves in the music, my own tone of voice, in some of the stock footage that I was playing. And you know what pattern disruption does? Pattern disruption is one of the strongest strategies to pull people's attention. And in my case, I did that close to the end of the video, which is the moment where usually most people exit. That was not my case. My retention stayed consistent at the end. It's time to take action. Now, if you look at the workbook that you received, I'm going to open it up real quick. I don't know why I did not do this before. I just stop sharing because I am looking for the workbook. That is the Branding Breakthrough Challenge workbook. There it is. So this is the Branding Breakthrough Challenge workbook that you should have received via email. And when you go to page 13, I believe. You see, you have all the exercises right here for you to fill up right in the book. And when you reach to tool number 4, you will see a list of unexpected tones. As you see them on the screen. So what's going to happen now is you're going to choose 2 to 3 tones from this list. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that. Let's go. Timer is running. Let me read out the list in case you don't have the workbook handy or you happen to not be looking at the screen right now. Informative, educational, inspiration, entertaining, conversational, authoritative, thought-provoking, empathetic, enthusiastic, authentic, I like that one. Serious. You can think of news, for instance. Playful, emotional, energetic, sarcastic, relaxed. Think about meditations. Think about ASMR. Motivational, edgy, mysterious, whimsical. This is a pretty good list of tones to get you started. And what you need to think about is a tone becomes, is not unexpected in itself. It's only unexpected in a certain context. So a smart way to do this is to see what the big channels in your niche are doing, understand what tones they're using, and then flip it. By flipping it, I mean do the opposite or something completely different to what people expect. That's why I call it unexpected channel. You're not gonna need a lot of time. You already have a good list. This list could cover more, but these 20 items are a great starting point. And time is running out, by the way. So decide on your tones fast and let's do this. All right. So we're down to the last stretch. I'm going to explain you tool number 5. We made it. Unexpected structure. So you know that the structure is the logical flow that divides your videos in sections that tells the structures the content, right? So in this case, you could use an unexpected structure. This works exactly the same as the tone. You will want to use something that is out of the norm in your niche. Unexpected structures to present the logical flow or format of your content in a way that is unusual in your chosen niche. So as I said, the smart way to do this is to understand the typical structure types on the big channels in your niche and flip it. Do the opposite or something completely different. Key benefits of having an unexpected structure type: making your competition irrelevant, offer a unique format that nobody expects. 2, amplify your storytelling skills, a key factor of high audience retention. You can structure your videos with a good structure and also come up with a flow that has the highest chances of retaining your audience or pulling their attention back to you. You can use pattern disruption, switch from one structure type to another on any given video to create a pattern disruption. If you start your video as a how-to video, that's one structure type, then you can switch and start with telling a story, a personal story that completely breaks the pattern. Because if you think about how-to videos, you can say, all right, today I'm going to teach you how to do X, tip number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3. And then before you reach the next tip, if there is any, you're going to tell a story, break the pattern completely, get emotional, be relatable, be personal, and completely break the flow of what was happening. And you know what does that? Creates a pattern disruption, which brings attention to you. 4, ease your content creation process. Once you have chosen your structure type or types, you will improve video ideation, coming up with ideas, planning, which involves research, and outlining and scripting. The actual creation of the video itself will be more organized thanks to the structure, and you will reduce your time spent creating content, and you will reduce hesitation. So if you don't hesitate, you're gonna move forward more effortlessly. So if you're ready to get all these benefits, let's take some action. Going to show you the workbook again and set a timer. So look at the list of structure types in your workbook. Choose 3 structure types from it, and then remember to use the flip. Think about what's conventional, then do the opposite or something completely different. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. You can look at the workbook. Again, on the next page, the structure types that you'll see here are series, tutorials, top 10 lists, interviews, case studies, challenges, Q&A sessions, vlogs, product reviews, documentaries, webinars, explainer videos, collaborations, live streams, storytelling, behind the scenes, comparison videos, guest features, interactive content. As always, this is a great good list to get you started, and not only get you started, get you going, but there are more structure types out there. Remember to consider the flipping, and you will have an unexpected structure type for your channel branding. We are down to the last 45 seconds. I hope you've chosen your 3 and you are ready to go. Not just ready to go for the structure type that you're using, but also for your entire channel unique formula. Five seconds. Oh, my dear creators, we are done. If you follow through all the assignments of today's lesson, you should have all the ingredients that you need for your channel unique formula. It's so exciting. If you didn't go through all the assignments, make sure you do that tonight, tomorrow the latest, because we're going to continue exploring the beauty of this framework. And if you're not done yet, or you're not sure about how well you did, you will receive more and more inspiration in the last 2 days. Tomorrow, in fact, I want to make sure that everybody shows up. Tomorrow, I am going to break down some of your channels. Everyone who registered was asked whether they wanted their channels reviewed live, and you gave me the links to your YouTube channels. That means that there is a good chance that tomorrow I will be breaking down your channel within this framework, and even better, I will give you recommendations on how to make it better. So let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for taking all the action, for being active in the chat, for being active in taking the steps. And I would love to see you tomorrow. Take care and keep creating.